And I ask time and time again, what is the strategy of this football club? What is the strategy of this football club? Leicester, they lost 7 straight. They lost 7 straight. And they've come to our ground and they've won. They've come to our ground and they've won. 2 out of the 3 promoted sides in the Premier League this season have come to our ground and won. And won. We have 1 point out of 6 against Leicester. We have 1 out of 3 points against Wolves. We have 3 out of 3 points against Southampton. We have 3 out of 6 points against Everton. We literally have 2 wins against the bottom 5 sides. And we are in that scrap with them. Everton are a point behind us. Man thought I was joking last week when I said we're in a relegation dogfight. We are. We absolutely are. We are sleepwalking to potential relegation. And I have to ask myself and ask the powers that be at this football club. They are disgraceful custodians. They are disgraceful custodians because I have to ask again, what is the strategy? What is the strategy of this damn football club? Yeah? Because you won't sack him. You will not sack this manager. You keep saying you're backing him, you're backing him. How are you backing him? How are you backing him? Did you see our bench today? Did you see some of those players dead on their feet? How? What is going on here? If you're going to keep him, give him players. If you're not going to keep him, sack him. This nonsense limbo is only hurting us, the club. We have lost 13 Premier League games. 13! Like, why are we just accepting loss after loss after loss after loss after loss? Why? Why are we accepting this? And people will still cling on to this notion of, oh, but we're still in the cups. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up, Levy. Shut up, Lang. Shut up to the lot of them. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. Enough is enough. Yeah? Give us a proper strategy. Give us players and give us a new manager. I've had enough. I've had enough of this damn rubbish. How many teams are going to embarrass us this season? How many teams? They got me going mad in my best mate's gaff. In his spare bedroom, I'm going crazy. Because I'm just sick to death of seeing us lose. And I'm seeing some fans that are actually accepting these losses. How can you lose to Everton and then lose to Leicester? Do you know how disgraceful that is? I can't think of one team that has lost to Everton and Leicester back to back. 2 of the worst teams in the Premier League. They have beaten us back to back. At what point do we accept that this manager is not good enough? At what point do we accept that this squad needs help? At what point do we accept that these owners are not fit to run a football club? They are businessmen. They're greedy, financially motivated businessmen. They are not proper custodians of a football club. They're not. I can't even get into the game too tough because I'm just at a loss for words. Leicester City. And I'm not even shocked. That's the maddest thing. On the Big Six yesterday, on the mob, I said, yeah, we could lose. Grizzlies like, you could lose to them. I said, yeah, you're right. We genuinely could lose. And I wouldn't be surprised. But it doesn't make it easier to take. Because it is a disgraceful result. It is a result straight from the pits of hell. And this club, they are deep in hell. They're deep in hell with a terribly bad football owner. You keep saying you're backing this manager. How are you backing him? Are you backing him through word of mouth? Is that what's going to get him the wins? Is it your telegraphed backing on a newspaper that's going to get him those wins? Or is it players? Is it physical bodies that have some element of quality? We couldn't even fill a proper bench today. We couldn't even fill a proper bench. We couldn't even fill up our bench because we got that many injuries. 2 more players dropped off. Yet this club, they're sleepwalking. What do you think is going to happen to your commercial revenue when we're in the Championship? Or if we're in the Championship, sorry. I can't even get into the game too tough because I just don't understand what's going on. And years, I've called out this horrendous, inept Not fit for purpose ownership. They are terrible. They are the root cause of all evil at the football club. But make no mistake, they are not the only thing wrong with this club right now. Because in the end of the day, we have lost to one of the worst teams at home. At home. And people have to pay. Heads must roll. That ball fraud at the top, heads must roll. The manager in the dugout, heads must roll. Some players in that squad, heads must roll. Leicester City. Ruud van Nistelrooy had lost 7 straight in the Premier League. Leicester City. And now I've got people recording me. Harry Winks and Skip came to our ground and they picked up 3 points. They picked up 3 points. Now let's actually get into the game, because I was not expecting a vintage performance. I was definitely expecting a scrappy performance. And when I saw no Maddison, no Spence, I said, yeah, this is a get it out the mud type game. This is a full-on get it out the mud type of result. You have to win today, but you got to get this out the mud. And what did we do? We plunged ourselves into quicksand. We plunged ourselves further and further into the quicksand that is this relegation dogfight. Yeah? So many players I can talk about. Pat Matasar. When was the last good game he's had for Tottenham? And I like Sarr. I think he's a good player, but it's a joke now. It's becoming laughable how bad this guy is playing. How much of a detriment to the team he is right now. But we start the game well. We score. Great cross from Pedro Porro. Good run from Richarlison. Yeah, 1-0 up. Sweet. Not many chances, but not exactly playing horrendously bad. And then second half comes out. And we go 1-1. 1-1. 1-1. I mean, Kinski, I just don't... This guy had a fantastic debut against Liverpool. And then he's a young goalkeeper, so you have to be patient. But there's no words for that. Again, you have to make contact with the ball there. There's no way on earth that ball should be ending at the feet of Jamie Vardy. There's no way. How does that even happen? The fact that the balls are even allowed to come across the face of our goal is another matter that I've spoken about many, many times on this team's inability to stop crosses. But Kinski, you have to get something on that. And yet again, we've just gifted them away back into the game. And it's like, Spurs don't suffer well. We suffer horribly. And within a couple of minutes, we go 2-1 down. 2-1 down. The ball breaks down between Porro and Bentancur. Porro, terrible pass into Bentancur. You can see the pressure's coming onto Bentancur. You can see that the Leicester player is about to press him. And you pass the ball into his feet. Of course, he loses the ball. But you know what's even concerning? Not just the fact that Pedro Porro's lost the ball. Not just the fact that Bentancur's been stripped in our own half. Guess what's concerning? The fact that, what's his name? Not El Yanusi. I can't even remember his name. But he's got acres. He's a decent player for Leicester as well, by the way. He's got acres of space. Acres and acres and acres of space to run into, to look up, to pick his spot, to wind up his shot, and to strike the ball. And he can do all of those things, and there is still not a single Spurs player near him. Why? Because our midfield disappeared. We've got our number 8 occupying the right flank for God knows why. And then we've got our number 6 getting stripped from the ball because of a slack pass. Where's the midfield? But we can't talk about the manager. No. It's you just can't. Spurs should be losing to Leicester at home. We've got injuries galore. So losing to Leicester at home, it's the expected result. Can't talk about the manager. No. Losing to Everton and Leicester back to back. Can't talk about the manager. No. No, you just can't. Can't talk about the fact that, yet again, There is a chasm of space between our defence and our midfield. Can't talk about the manager. No way. That space isn't there if we've got all our first team players available. Are you crazy? I mean, we have conceded goals like that when our players have been fit, but nothing to do with the manager. Nothing to do with the manager. No. Nothing to do with the manager. But I just want to say this. Pedro Porro, fantastic cross for the first goal, but another shocking performance. We missed Jed Spence today. We missed competence. Another shocking performance. Crazy decision-making in the opposition half after good play, smashing the ball, going for goal from obscene angles. He beats two players, and when you think it's time to put in a good cross into the box, you're shooting. You're trying to score from basically near the corner flag. Use your brain, man. We're literally in a dogfight, and this is what you got players doing. And you're meant to be one of the more senior players in our team. And I know he's not old. He's not young, but he's not old. We're talking about a 24, 25-year-old player. Play with some brain. Use your brain. The guy plays like Bruno Fernandes at right back. Spams the ball. Doesn't think about some of his actions. Turns over possession needlessly. Like, everyone knows me. I think he's a good player, but I think he's been terrible this season. And I've said this so many times. Why are you costing us? And it's not just him. I spoke on Pat Matasar. No control in the midfield. Sloppy with the pass. Sloppy with the defending. It's not good enough. Son, another ghost performance. Useless. I love Son. I want him to ride off into the sunset, and I think he deserves loyalty, and I think he's a player that we need to keep around until his contract winds down. But I've made it very, very clear. Son is not a starter in this team anymore. He's not at the level to be playing the amount of games that he's playing. And yet we have to play him because the powers that be have not signed anyone else. But, we've got kids. Way. We signed a new kid from Korea. Way. Why is he not touching pitch? If the strategy is so great and we should be excited, why are the kids not touching pitch? Why is the manager so hesitant to play these kids if it's such a flawless strategy? We need experience. I'm seeing news reports linking us to Diblin. Stop bringing kids. We need experience. And I think Diblin's cold. I think he's cold. Yeah? And I would be so calm with signing Diblin if it came with an Mbeumo. If you told me, we're selling Brennan Johnson, we're going to bring Diblin, but we're also going to bring in Mbeumo, that tells me you're serious. That's one starter straight into the 11, and that's another player on the conveyor belt that can push and compete with him. And then you got your right wing locked up. But no. They're saying bring in Diblin, who, by the way, is injured. He's injured for a month and a half. They're saying bring him now. Project Youth. F off. We need quality. Those players, they're on their knees. But Son today, shit. Rubbish. Off the left, apart from one nice shot that the goalkeeper tipped onto the post, anonymous. And when he went through the middle, even worse. But you know what made it even worse? The changes from the manager. The changes, as per, when it comes to winning a game with fine margins, this guy has shown his ass repeatedly. He's not going to get us over the line. More often than not, we end up losing the game or dropping points. Minimum. Very rarely do we win the fine margin games of football with this manager. Very rarely. Today, we went 2-1 down, and what does he do? He takes off our only goal scorer and our only box presence and moves Son into the center of into the central position of our attack, brings on Mikey Moore, but keeps Kulusevski on the right and puts Gray into the midfield. You're trying to win this game of football, and you're telling me that you've got two players that are really competing for the number 6, but one's playing as an 8, but not really playing as an 8. So you're not really getting that thrust through the middle, outside of Bergvall. You're not. Bergvall was trying, but he can't do it by himself in central areas. But no, you take off our only box presence in the striker. You don't bring on the striker that you've got on the bench, the young striker. No, you play Son there, who played terrible. He stays on for 90 minutes. No sub. No nothing. Get rid of him. What are we waiting for? They don't want to give him money, yet they're keeping him around. Make it make sense to me. Go and throw money at a serious manager now and get us out of this mess. Because I've had enough. I'm not accepting losing week in, week out. This is a joke. Why is it acceptable for us to keep losing these games? I've had enough. And truth be told, I lost my patience with all of this at least a good month ago. That Chelsea game was the final nail in the coffin. This is not it. The manager is not good enough, needs to go. The players need help. Some of those players aren't good enough. But this ownership, incompetence. They sign us kids in the summer. They give us one starter. Yeah? They give us no outfield player in January. Yeah? They keep this manager who is literally on course to be the worst performing manager that we've had in about 15, 16 years. They keep him in the job. They don't give him bodies. But he's getting backed. And they're keeping him around because we're still in cup competitions? That's your motivation? Can't beat Everton away. Can't beat Leicester at home. But we're going to go to Anfield and defend a 1-goal lead? This club's turning me senile. Incompetent owner. Incompetent manager. Some incompetent players. This club, they are rotten. And any person who watches this and tells me I'm being negative, oh, you're not a real fan, what do you expect the manager to do? You can fuck off, man. You can fuck right off, because I've had enough. I've had enough, bro. I can't take this anymore. Loss after loss after loss. Why is it on? Why is it acceptable? I can't take this anymore. We're linked with the likes of Brian Bobby. Brian Bobby! They want us to get Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights. May as well. May as well get Ricky Bobby. If we're just bringing guys, just any names, any random dons. We are in a relegation scrap and they still haven't signed players. But they're backing the manager. They're backing the worst manager that we've had in about 15 years. They're backing him. This is what they call backing. Incompetence. Pure and utter incompetence. And they are undermining some of the talent in this squad. Because I'll repeat, this squad is not bad, but it is incomplete. What kind of ownership looks at this? You can literally see the club disintegrating. You can see our Premier League campaign is in tatters. And you're doing nothing. Disgrace. They are an utter disgrace. But that manager, if I don't see his P45 delivered within the next week, there's going to be hell to pay. It's enough. Get rid of him and throw some money at a decent manager. I've had enough. Get him gone.